Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the ZTR XRS DeCat race out on Zwift. We're out on the London course today for the Pretzel course, 34 miles, 55.5 kilometers. We have a pretty cool race today for you, though. And I hear myself in the background. We're going to get rid of that. There we go. And today we actually have a whole lot of riders on board, actually, with a battle between two teams. It's going to be Team Experimental versus Team Vision Cycling out on course today. We actually have a ton of riders lined up, ready to go. About a minute 21 to the start. Vision Cycling going to be represented out here today by Sebastian Kuhn, Jeffrey Creel, Christian Barholm, and Tim Fulford. As you can see here, they're all warming up, getting ready to go. It's going to be a killer battle. It's we also do have hanging out Mr. Kim Little. We're waiting for Neil Law. Now, this isn't the only riders. Now, these are the riders that we have on board. These are the riders we have on board. We also do have Kim Little, and we're waiting up for Neil Law. We'll see if Neil is able to connect to us. He might be having some internet issues out here today. Those are the riders on board. We have entire teams, though, from both of these teams, actually, that are going to be showing up and hammering against each other in this Vision V Team Experimental. It looks like... Neil Law, it looks like Frank Garcia showing up. Joachim Plujmers is in the rider list right now. Quentin Laflay, Dwan Grain, Casey Shum is in there. I don't think Casey's racing, though. We've got Kerr. We also have Scotty Weiss, the world champion for Team Experimental. Renee Rolliget is out there as well. Jeffrey Creel, Adam Webb. Who else? Francis Kopix from Team Experimental. The rider field is absolutely stacked today, actually, and they're just about to take off. The efforts are starting to go through the roof already. And let's get right into the action, as I'm pretty sure this is going to be an all-out battle between Team X and Team Experimental. As you can see here, look at all of the jerseys there from both of those teams out on course. Experimental showing up in force, Vision Cycling as well. And let's go ahead and see what kind of a... Is this Kim Little is literally just tapping away on his phone while doing how many watts here, Kim Little? Absolutely killing it, or I'm not exactly sure what's happening there, but Kim is pounding and at the same time tapping away on his phone. We do have Frank Garcia here, though, it looks like, here going off the front a little bit. And so Nathan, I can be on board tomorrow. BJ saying sounds good, BJ. So I'd love to have you hanging out. So Frank Garcia off the front already, actually, in the we're going to go ahead and give him a ride on here, and now has about 1 second. Scotty Weiss following that up very quickly, actually closing things down here as fast as he possibly can. So it does look like Scotty Weiss is right at the front there on that World Championship kit, actually. Keep a watch out for that, because that is going to be a Team Experimental rider, though, but in his kit that he has earned by winning the Masters World Championship, actually. Barholm here up the front here, coming out of Norway, right along with Friedholm, also out of Norway, but riding for Team Experimental. Looking over his shoulder here, you can see. And so we do have the riders on board here. I think Kim maybe have phoned himself off the back. I'll have to double check and see. He was not actually, it looks like, hammering it all as the race was starting. We'll have to see if Kim was caught off guard with the race start. Moving our way back now, we do see Neil Law from Team Experimental just trying to hang on to the pace that is absolutely ferocious at the front end of the race right now. We have Jesper Anchor power. Yep, Jesper Anchor is definitely in there. Airfreed is here as well, saying go Vision. So thanks a lot for the host over at the Mixer channel, BJ Alfonso. We really appreciate that. Looking through, Jesper Anchor is definitely out there racing right now for Vision, showing up and letting it be known that we've got the real country hammering away for out of Denmark here for Vision on course. So as you can see, this was an organized race between the two teams, and we're gonna have to see who turns out on top for this race today. And just so the Anchor's heart rate is through the roof as the comments coming through right now, 185 beats per minute. For those of you who have not seen Zwift before, just tuning in for the first time, this is real riders with real heartbeats being thrown down out on course right now, absolutely demolishing it. And as you can see, we do have some real world views here coming through for the riders right now. Jeffrey Creel, we do see Christian Barholm, we do also have Sebastian Kuhn, Tim Fulford, and then Kim Little there. Our lone Team Experimental rider that was able to connect with us on board today. Looks like his head is down and absolutely hammering right now. I have a feeling that he might have been caught off the back. Yes, there he is, off the back, 12 seconds. I was wondering what was going on. We'll see if he can get back on terms with the front of the race. Again, 158 beats per minute, 318 watts or so. They may send a few riders back to Kim in order to bring him back into the races. He is most definitely one of the stronger riders. But up toward the front of the race here, we do have the two scenes here, as you can see from the race. So there's Kim in our view there on the bottom right, bottom left there, 447 watts or so. Up toward the front, then we do see Fulford there, 3.4, 3.5. And we do see that I think Team Experimental actually attacking rather than slowing things down, which is really interesting that Garcia here is actually going off the front rather than bringing things back a little bit and making the pace slow down. It continues to go out. There it is, still 12 seconds steady though here for Mr. Kim Little between himself and the rest of the riders here. We'll see if he's able to get back on terms. There he is. In no man's land, 5.0 watts per kilogram or so. Back up toward the front of the race, though. Let's go ahead and see what's happening, as we do have attacks already lining up here for Team Experimental. Vision Cycling going as well, as you can see, as they head into Trafalgar Square here in just a second. So we are seeing, it looks like Neil Law right along with Weidman. Then Turmountain is there as well. Plujmer is now hammering away toward the front. One of the favorites here to win the race for sure is going to be Joachim Plujmer with the Pretzel course out here today. A lot of climbing on the London Pretzel course. We'll have to watch out for that. So now this is going to be the right-hand turn onto the new course, actually a flatter section of the London course here. They're going to do this little new loop, but already the gaps are starting to break apart here. Garcia with that attack has caused a whole lot of mayhem in the group. Kowalski here now out of Switzerland up to the front with Fulford, and Weiss now going 5.3 watts per kilogram. They let the world champion get away. I'm not sure he's going to be seen again, even with this super long 35-mile race or so out on Zwift today. All right, real quick for the XRS DeCat rules, we're going to go ahead and read through those so everybody knows what is happening out here today for XRS DeCat. All entries via the event module. So everybody had to enter through the event module on Zwift today. Your rider name should be, as an example, JBlogs, and then the team in parentheses, as you can see here with the riders that are on the right-hand side, all listed there. You can see in parentheses each of the teams that they do ride for. It is not necessary to display race name or category any longer. Fair racing and no cheating. HRM is mandatory. As you can see, Scotty Weiss has a heart rate monitor on. 166 beats per minute is currently being registered. Significant weight fluctuations over short time before the race may be queried by organizers, and he may be removed from the results if adequate reason is not provided. ZTR approval for any rider with 5 watts per kilogram FTP is mandatory for the XRS DeCat rules. Riders who finish with 5.0 plus for 20-minute critical power will be placed in the ZTR 5 watt per kilogram category and not eligible for results until real-world evidence using a power meter can be provided to ZTR, the Zwift Anti-Doping Association, a community organization that just checks on everybody to make sure that everybody's within the real-world power that they can produce, because these are real riders hammering away right now out on course. So now we do have Jeffrey Creel outside, it looks like, down in the land down under, hammered away here for Vision Cycling. He is off the front right now, it looks like, with Mr. Scotty Weiss here. So it looks like here, Jeffrey here, right along with Weiss now, getting away, actually. And I wonder if this is going to be an early break that both teams let go, because it is Team Experimental versus Team Vision Cycling out here today. And I have a feeling that in the team car, we might be having a little bit of a situation where both team cars are saying, just go ahead, let them go, don't chase that down. And now you can see that the effort between the riders is most definitely calmed down in the chase now, as we are seeing from Mr. Scotty Weiss here, 6.9 watts per kilogram. But at the chase, though, coming from Vision Cycling here with with Diner just putting out 4.0, 5.0 or so, knowing that they have a rider in the break now, are not going to be trying to chase things down. Now, 7 watts per kilogram, though, coming from Scotty Weiss, absolutely demolishing himself, trying to open up that gap a little bit more, it looks like. Jay Adams at the front here, not riding for experimental or Vision Cycling. Is going to wonder what the heck he got himself mixed up into, because it looks like Vision and experimental are just ruining themselves, just ruining the field, demolishing themselves out there on course right now. And you can see 4.3 watts per kilogram coming from Adams, and it's all back together. Grupo Compacto now at the front end of this race right now, as you can see. So now we do have Barroso now maybe wanting to be involved in this race for the win, making his way to the front, 4.5 watts per kilogram or so. But with Creel and Weiss off the front working at 6.0 plus, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to see for them to bring them back without something like 5.0 plus on the front end of that chase group. Now, again, it may also be with the duration of the race, with how long this race actually is. There may be this allowance for them to go and get 30 seconds to a minute or so, or even more. But with all the climbing that's going to be coming in, we may see something from Becker, or perhaps we could see Webb, or we could see there's quite a few really strong riders actually out here. There's so many it's hard to even name all the big hitters that have shown up. Locke's another one who may be able to close things down in this lead group as well. Plujmers, quite a few once it starts getting uphill into the climbing, or even Mr. Kim Little if he's able to get back on terms with the front end of this race. Again, Kim Little, we can see the absolute suffering here coming from Kim right now, trying to get back on terms with the front end of the race. He is 33 seconds right now off the back right now, 33 seconds off the back from the front of this race, as you can see. So it is going to be a battle here for Kim to get back on terms. We do have the crowds out there cheering him on right now, as you can hear, as he moves right on by the all of the AI in the game, trying to encourage him on, it looks like. We'll see if Kim is able to get back with the front of this race. Hopefully he does so. They have slowed down, but even at 5.0 watts per kilogram, it's going to be a difficult day for Kim to do so. Was caught off guards there, it looks like, in that front group. We'll keep eyes on him throughout the race, though, and make sure that we're seeing whether or not he's able to close that down. Back with the front of the race, though, it is a minute or so between them and Kim Little, but only 20 seconds between them and the main group here out on course. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with our social media integration. It looks like we've got Jonathan Noblet out here chatting away with us, as well as Giannis Denning. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We appreciate you guys so much over at the Facebook. A couple of social media shout outs here, though, coming. Huge props to Jeffrey Creel for racing at 1:30 a.m. 1:30 a.m. over in Australia. Early morning, late night for Jeffrey Creel out there off the front as well, hammering away. This is actually Kim Little up above us here, but Jeffrey Creel, he's off the front with Scotty Weiss, and it's 1:30 a.m. We also have, it looks like, a pick here coming from Watch Out for Serious Anchor Power. He can ride his bike with no handlebars at Z Community Live. So Jesper Anchor is out there hammering away right now. Solid effort here coming from him. 2,000 watts here somehow from Jesper Anchor in this sprint section over on Watopia. We're not on Watopia today, but definitely some interesting stuff going on there. We've got Kim Little off the front at Wild Deep having a lone team experimental party on at Z Community Live. Looks like, oh my goodness, you guys. Looks like Kim Little had too much of a disco party prior to the race today and is having a little bit of trouble off the back right now. Slow little party right now. We've also got the tweet coming up from Mr. Johnny Noblet here. Racers looking strong from Vision Cycling. Nice job to all the boys from Vision. But we'll see if they're able to hold off the team experimental train, as they do have a strong rider here with Scotty Weiss, as well as quite a few others here. It looks like Neil Law, Plujmers is there, as well as I can see Mark McIntosh, Morehouse, Friedholm, and quite a few others in the black kits there, trying to bring it back. Actually, interesting, we do have, it looks like, our work and quite a few others that have gone back to the Team experimental rider Kim Little now. Gray is here. Sean Gray sacrificing himself for the team. 6.3 watts per kilogram. Kim Little now heading to the front. 4.5. They got 30 miles per hour. It is only 12 seconds actually up to Weidman and Frebs. They've sent almost the entire team back to Kim actually after that initial mechanical out on course there. So now Gray here 6.7 up toward the front. We are seeing it looks like Westerhoff 5.4 watts per kilogram. They've put the entire team of support out there for Kim Little right now. Kowalski now 6.0 watts per kilogram. We can see 30 miles per hour. Termott now 30 miles per hour in the group here. Kuhn, Rooney, Webb, and the rest now 32, but they are kind of on a little bit of a downhill section or flatter section out on course. Let's see if they're able to hold off this team experimental train that has gone back to try and bring back Mr. Kim Little himself. Weidman now on the front, 8.0, 8.4 watts per kilogram. Kowalski now 6.4, 6.5. Can they hold on? 31 miles per hour now coming from these boys here. 17 seconds is all it is. So they are bringing it back a little bit here for Mr. Kim Little, as you can see. So let's go ahead and see what's happening with him. Looking like his heart rate is coming down just a little bit here. Let's go ahead and bring in his view. 165 beats per minute coming from Kim Little here. As you can see, still pretty red in the face here, getting a little bit of drink. He's got a big old fan right next to his face, though. Maybe he's going to turn that up pretty dang high right now as he boots his whole team around him right now, trying to bring him back after the mechanical out on course here. We'll see if they can get him back into this race now. 3.8 watts per kilogram is all he's having to put out right now. As you can see up front, though, there is Creel and Weiss still putting out 5.9 watts per kilogram as they fly right on by out toward the classic course, I believe, is the next place that they're going to be heading here. We'll have to see. Actually, no, I do see them heading toward the climb. I'm not sure exactly all of the directions that the pretzel course goes. We're going to need a pretzel course map here to figure out where they're going to be heading, because this is a newer course out on the London course. I know the pretzel course for sure out on Watopia. We're going to have to catch up with that. Huge props. So we are seeing then Jens Fried Rasmussen saying TTT for 60K is what it's going to be. Maybe. We'll see. They're working pretty hard here, and they're actually bringing back, it looks like, a few others. Locks here is only 3 seconds up. Garcia as well. I think they're almost right back on terms with most of the group now. And we are seeing the catch here. There's a little communication there going from Kim between himself and the other riders, it looks like, for a second there to see what's happening out on course. So there is the scene right now between Team Experimental and the catch of the main group. But still off the front, though, we still have the front runners now. And it is going to be Weiss and Creel with only 13 seconds though, boys and girls. It's still only 13 seconds now between Scotty Weiss and Jeffrey Creel now. McIntosh and EVR, we're seeing also Jackson, Gray, Weidman, all back together. Now it's 29 seconds. It went out very quickly there because they took a turn. But as soon as they take this other turn back onto, it looks like the classic section of the course, I think that'll come right back down actually. So now 31 seconds, 30 or so it looks like out on course here for this chase group. 32 seconds, 6.5 watts per kilogram we're seeing from Weiss now, trying to hold off the chase now. Kim Little back at the front, going to rest up a little bit. I'm surprised he was able to get back on to the I'm surprised they were able to get back on to the group there with Kim. What an amazing effort actually, and what great teamwork from Team Experimental, getting Kim back into the race. And this is going to be their two strongmen for sure. Kim Little right along with Scotty Weiss. So they send Scotty off the front with Creel to work together. They've got somebody in the break, but then they've also got a couple of aces up their sleeve and making sure that they've got Kim in and amongst that chase group, amongst the main group, to be sent on to any kind of attacks or any kind of counters to any attacks that do happen later in the race is definitely going to be a smart move. Nathan, what's the point of team racing out on Zwift? Z Kreider is saying. So, what I'm trying to understand. So, what's the point? The point, I mean, there's a lot of different points, I think, to team racing. A lot of teams that are focused on camaraderie and the ability to work together. That is a huge draw for that. A lot of these guys have known each other for a really long time out on Zwift, been riding together out on Zwift, group rides. And then there's the reality that Zwift acts a lot like real life racing. because there's drafting in the game, you are able to work together and use the same dynamics in real life in order to take team tactics into the game. So there's another point to it. Just like any game that's out there, any sport that you would play, any game that you would play, team dynamics are a huge advantage, as well as a driver to encourage each other on and push each other on. I know that for Vision Cycling, obviously Vision Cycling was originally run and started by myself out on Zwift, and it's been handed off to the Director Sportifs and a board that helps run that. But they do an amazing job of really connecting all these athletes and having a place of camaraderie and a common goals together has actually changed some people's lives. I think I can see that at least in Team Vision Cycling's closed communications groups, but I would assume that would be the same within Team Experimental, PTZ, KISS Racing Team. I have a feeling that the feeling is definitely going to be mutual between all of them for the ways that it has affected their life. So I mean, that's absolutely one way, the camaraderie that the team brings to each other and the encouragement that it brings and the bonds that are formed through pushing each other out on course and out on racing, as well as during group rides and training. But then there's also the reality that Zwift acts a lot like in real life racing. So definitely a huge advantage to that, as well. As you just saw out on course there, you saw Team Experimental pulling the Kim Little, one of their strongest men out on course, back into the fold of the chase group. There's only 34 seconds back now, as you can see. So definitely right there, an example of what the point of teams are out on Zwift that was just shown to us in a huge highlight with the way that they just worked together to bring back one of the strongest riders on their team and make sure that he is involved in this race today and not found himself off the back because of just a mechanical issue. So back with that chase group, though, we do see it is Team Experimental at the front, actually, but just controlling the pace there, 4.8, 4.7 watts per kilogram, almost making sure it doesn't go too far out of reach. Creel versus Weiss now is going to be the battle. It's Australia against the US of A. Vision versus Experimental. Both of them do have a rider in the break right now. Neil Law, now Barholm, it looks like at the front, just kind of keeping the pace right around 4.0 to 5.0 watts per kilogram. Steady at the front. No attacks, really. It is the Spocker now, 5.2 at the front, 156 beats per minute as they come by the crowds and toward the square. You're going to take a turnaround underneath that 1 kilometer to go banner. It's not the actual 1 kilometer to go banner in this race, but they'll do a quick little turnaround here and then head on over toward the climb up Box Hill, I believe. It might be Fox Hill first, actually. I may be incorrect about that. I have a feeling they may be doing Fox Hill first and then Box Hill for the second time out there, if I remember correctly. I've only broadcasted and done one time. I've only done one broadcast on this course before, so we'll have to have a little bit of jogging of our memory, but we do see a solid effort here. It is Fox Hill first. Thanks a lot, Rogers. I appreciate that very much. So we are seeing, it looks like Weiss, though, not holding up whatsoever for anybody. It is going out to 44 seconds now, as we can see. So definitely a solid effort here coming from Weiss at 6.0 watts per kilogram at the front end of this race, making sure that it's a battle between him and Creel. And I have a feeling that Mr. Jeffrey Creel is going to have his work cut out for him to hold on to the likes of Weiss as soon as they hit Fox Hill. Super steep climb up and over the top of Fox Hill. And so the world champion, who has an amazing ability to climb, he's actually set an Everesting record in the past here. So it's going to be a battle here, I think, for Creel to hang on against Mr. Scotty Weiss. So we'll see if he's able to do so, though. 3.5 watts per kilogram sitting in on the wheel, and that might be the smart move here, actually. to make up against Weiss here, trying to preserve as much energy as they can. We are seeing some attacks here now in the chase group, actually. Diner now going off the front, and he may be the only one to be able to match the efforts of Weiss on the front end of this group, though, because Diner, definitely one of the stronger riders out on course, hasn't been beat, I don't believe, in any of the races he's recently done. So we'll see if the close down is going to happen here from Vision Cycling, or if they're going to continue to just let them go off the front here. We'll have to see. Becker now is there as well, one of the other stronger riders out on course. And Go Scotty, the SW place is in the house. Good to see you. Scotty's typing Go Scotty. No, it's got to be, I believe that's going to be maybe Katrina out on the Facebook right now with a little bit of a comment there. Thanks a lot, Jens. Appreciate the update there. David Chris was letting us know, just so everybody knows, looking for a team. I'm not on any team, cough, David Chris. So if anybody's looking for the recruitment, David Chris was looking for a team, it looks like, out on Zwift. Let's go ahead and see what's happening over. I'm getting a lot of notifications actually coming through over at the Mixer channel. So let's go ahead and see what all of the hype is about over there. I'm also getting some messages coming through here. Oh, thanks a lot, Johnny. Appreciate for the shout outs. I do see those. So we are seeing it's morphin time coming from Power Ranger Blue. How's it going, Power Ranger Blue? Copper Glitter, good to see you as well over at the Mixer channel. And we are seeing quite a few other comments coming through. Scotty is averaging 6.1 watts per kilogram. He's absolutely killing it. It doesn't include the first minute or so, however, on live, so likely higher. James Hodges is saying, yeah, Scotty's absolutely demolishing himself right now to hold on to that effort on the front, but we are seeing it is still only 37 seconds, 38 seconds, and as you can see, it is definitely a battle to hold off a group, especially a group this strong that's holding 4.0 to 5.0 watts per kilogram at the front of the race. It's always going to be a battle to hold off any effort from a strong, super strong group at the front of a race like this. Scotty Weiss still putting out 6.4 watts per kilogram, 160 beats per minute right now. Creel now 4.2, just sitting on his wheel there. EG Pan now making his way to the front now, coming out of China there. There is Kopix and Friedholm now at the front end of the race, slowing things down, making sure that the gap is not coming down just yet. 39 seconds or so is what they've got. Man, and what a huge effort here from Scotty Weiss. We're being told he's putting out about 6.0 watts per kilogram or so for this duration so far. And two people in, so Scotty third and Daniel eighth. Rogers is saying, I'm not exactly sure what you're chatting about there, Rogers, but it'll be interesting to know. Scotty knows he will destroy Creel on the climb, so ignoring him. We'll have to see about that. I think Creel is definitely maybe one to watch out for. Let's go ahead and see what kind of an effort he is bringing in to the live racing right now. It'll be interesting to see how much he may be suffering. Full on shirt open right now, trying to hold on to that pace. It looks like on the wheel of Scotty right now, as you can see, coming through right now. Looking also from Mr. Jeffrey Creel on the front here. Here's what all of our live racers are looking like. This is what the suffering looks like to hang on in and amongst this group here. Jersey's wide open, hammering away here. Fulford now hanging in there. Looks like Creel, Christian, as well as Kim Little and Sebastian Kuhn, all a part of the chase group right now. Fulford up and out of the saddle, just trying to hang on to the pace now that looks to be kicking up. We do see some orange numbers here, throwing down for some attacks now in and amongst Team Experimento now going off the front here. Actually, no, it's Diner here with an attack. Excuse me, he was the instigator. Becker here closing that down very quickly. And we did see a few riders up and out of the saddle hammering away, trying to hang on to that attack now. It is a 2-second gap, though. Gray goes with Diner. Looks like Webb is in there with Westerhoff as well. Fulford has made it, actually, from Vision Cycling into that group, actually, we are seeing. So, but it is brought right back in with Friedholm, closes it down right along with Francis Kopix. Nobody going anywhere just yet on this reverse of the new expansion out on London here. So definitely a solid attempt there to try and close things down. It looked like it was Vision Cycling that was trying to close it down there. Friedholm, though, shuts it down immediately. Now we do see Dwayne Grand here on the front there for Vision Cycling, 4.3 watts per kilogram. Trying to bring it up a little bit here, 28, 27 miles per hour or so. So amongst the lead group. Now let's go ahead and open up ZwiftPower.com real quickly and see who is in and amongst this lead group and how well they are bringing it back, how well they are establishing and then bringing back the chase if they are trying to do so, as well as how hard they're working out there today. It looks like for the ZTR DeCat today, or sorry, excuse me, XRS DeCat today, in the live results, I am seeing it is Jeffrey Creel at a 5.1 watts per kilogram. Weiss on the front there with averaging about 5.9 or so. Diner 4.5, definitely a whole lot less coming from the riders in the chase right now for sure. So definitely resting up, it looks like, for this race right now. We can actually bring this right on in. Let's go ahead and do so, as we'll be able to see exactly what kind of an effort these riders are throwing down out on course today. I'm just going to do a little bit of a fix here for my, there we go. So now we should have, it looks like, there it is. So merge this right on in, and you're going to be able to see Creel here. He's put out about 5.1 watts per kilogram. Weiss there about 5.9. But look at the difference between the chase group and the lead group here. Diner here, 4.5 watts per kilogram. Jackson there for Team Experimental, 4.1. We're seeing 4.1, 3.9. I mean, again and again and again, we're seeing super low watts per kilogram compared to the front end of this race. It'll be interesting to see where Kim Little is at, 4.7 watts per kilogram. Still sitting in, but definitely a little higher than the rest of the racers as they'd had to make that chase. Neil Law there after going back, 4.8 watts per kilogram coming from Neil. So, but all the way up into that 5.9 as you can see here. So absolutely killing it. It looks like here, Scotty Weiss with that solid 30-second gap though, 5.9, almost a watt and a half per kilogram higher than some of the other racers in that chase group, and yet only 30 seconds or so over the chase group. So very difficult to bring back and to keep away from a group like this out on course here. We are seeing, it looks like 3 seconds actually to the Spocker. Interesting little attack here going off the front actually. Three seconds. They're just going to let him go though and dangle, it looks like, from Team Experimental. So we'll see if they are going to be bringing them back in, though. Don't think that's going to be of any concern of anybody at this point. Barholm real quickly now, up and out of the saddle, absolutely killing it here really quick. We are seeing a huge effort there from Barholm as he brings back the rest of the riders there. As you can see, Fulford with a little bit of suffering on the face, trying to hang on to the pace. He is definitely still in the group there, up toward the front, actually closing things down, sitting up for just a second. Jeffrey Creel in that full-on TT position, just focusing on keeping the pace super high up at the front. Now we are seeing a little bit of attack again at the front end of the race here. Webb now trying to get away. It looks like Plujmer's now with an attack as well. Fulford trying to close it down, 8 watts per kilogram up and out of the saddle there. We are seeing, it looks like, Creel now as well. Absolutely holding on to the wheel of Scotty Weiss, now making his way to the front actually, with Weiss now just hanging on. So maybe Jeffrey with a little bit of a effort there to hang on, or not hang on, but to keep away the rest of the group actually, even with those attacks. Now Fulford now with 9 watts per kilogram, a little bit of an attack, it looks like here from him, to maybe try and break things apart, or at least keep everybody honest within the group and keep the front runners within sights actually. It's kind of interesting what's happening here. It seems to me that they've sent these two off the front to kind of keep everybody honest almost, and make sure that somebody is in that group. Now we are seeing, it looks like Jay Fobbs now as well from Team Experiment, 178 beats per minute, hammering away, trying to create a little bit of a gap between him and the rest of the riders here. We do have Fulford now hammering away at 7.9 watts per kilogram there, coming from Fulford actually. Solid effort there from Tim Fulford actually at 3.5, able to grab onto that wheel. Now Webb's going right along with him, 8.3 watts per kilogram. Becker now trying to hang on, it looks like, and he's going to go right along with these riders. So now we have another group forming itself at the front here. Kim Little, now we can see maybe a little bit. Look at the look on his face here now. Wondering what's going on up ahead, maybe a little bit with the riders getting away. Are they going to be able to close this down? Is the question here. Kim Little now, one of the favorites for the win, right along with Scotty Whites here. Are they going to close this down? We are seeing Becker here up at the front, and then let's go ahead and switch views here really quickly and see what's happening with the Team Experimental boys now, as we can see a whole lot of Experimental here chasing it down with Diner and the rest. As you can see in the lower right hand, that is the Experimental train bringing things back together, and they have completely controlled it now, as we do have Diner now back on the front. Kim Little up and out of the saddle though, as you can see Spocker, Diner, Plusmers, Garcia, Kopix all still with this lead group. 15.7 miles in total. They've got 35 miles total on the day though. So 20 miles to go, 20 miles to go in this race today. So solid effort here coming still from Little. Hanging out in and amongst this lead chase group. It is going to be 28 seconds though up to the front runners out on course still with Creel. Kim Little now up at the front, closed things down. It looks like the rest of the team's communicated well and is all back together. Nobody's gone anywhere. 28 seconds, 29 seconds up to Weiss, who's still hammering away at 6.4 watts per kilogram at the front end of the race today. So let's go ahead and see what's happening with some of the social media integrations now. Wayne Elvin saying now, what's happening with the freaking hacker there? And watch out for serious anchor power. Got it. So that was in response to the Mr. Jesper Anchor out there with the hacking at the 2,000 watts or so. We are seeing please turn off your Discord talk. It's just noisy wind. To Airfreed there. It's so hectic in Discord. Okay, gotcha. I was wondering what you guys were talking about there. So what else is happening? Team Vision Discord is great to listen to. Please don't use rude language. Yeah, I appreciate that very much. You can just ban Mr. Temp Bacon. He's going to keep on coming through there. A different sort of weapon, a useful one, is so hectic in Discord. Can you ride me? So Doomfist, guess what? We're going to have a little bit of a just biggity ban there. We'll see you later there, Doomfist. Thanks for hanging out for a while you were around. And so looking through here, though, we do see Team Experimental Train is all we've got eyes on actually here. They're absolutely dominating right now the main chase group. It does look like Experimental has been whittled down a little bit. They still have a couple of the strongmen, Diner in there. Does also look like Webb has obviously made this. Locks is in there. Dwayne Brown is in there as well. So definitely a couple of tough hitters. I think Tim Fulford has made this group. But Team Experimental with at least, I believe, 10 riders in and amongst this group. And Vision Cycling maybe getting a little bit of whittled down here on course now as they're going to be heading into Fox Hill. The first climbs in this XRS DeCat race. How much Nathan isn't racing? What's going on with how much Nathan isn't racing? I'm not racing at all as of lately. Just taking it easy. That's for sure. I'm just fine with that. So now we do have Friedholm with Webb. Looks like here at the front. Now Webb now with 17 watts per kilogram real quick here. No big deal. 964 watts. Absolutely demolishing himself real quickly to try and get away and make his way into that lead group. Has to close down 33 seconds in order to do so, though. 6.4 watts per kilogram. Creel now backing off a little bit. Going to force Weiss now to do the work because he can see his teammate now trying to get back on terms with him. Fulford tried to go with him, it looked like there. No, he just actually grabs onto the wheel of the rider right in front of him there. Was Spocker, who was trying to close that down, actually. So, as you can see here, it is going to be a chase here from Fulford. Just closes that down real quickly. There's a little communication going on from Fulford there with a few of the other riders, actually. From Team Vision Cycling, actually. Sounds like there's a lot of plans going on right now in the Discord channel, actually, between them. Now, 5 watts per kilogram here coming from Webb, trying to close things down. Creel now slowing things down, hopefully, is what he's trying to do at the front of this race. Now, he goes to the front, backs it off, goes to the front, backs it off. It looks like here, trying to get Webb back onto the wheel with him, but Webb here only able to hold on to about 5.3 watts per kilogram at the front of the race here. Westerhoff going to close that down real quickly here from Team Experimental, as you can see. So going to be, I think, shut down pretty quickly, as they don't want to allow two Vision cycling riders into the front of this group. So if they were to allow that to happen, it would definitely be a lot tougher day out on course for the Team Experimental rider Scotty Weiss, having the battle with two. Putting Diner, Webb, and Creel up against the world champion may be the way that they would be able to try and take him down. We'll see if they can make that happen. I have a feeling that may be one of the tactics they're trying to pull off. And Adrian Tim is saying a few more teams needed out on course. This was a specific, as you can see here with the graphic today, this was a specific Vision versus Experimental day. We can do others just like this, so make sure to bring in your team registrations for these type of team versus team out there. Do these Tron bikes have secret motors? No, Stephen Booth, I'm pretty sure that they don't, but they are a little bit faster out on Zwift because you earn them by climbing 50,000 meters out on Zwift. You climb 50,000 meters and the Tron bikes get a you are unable to unlock the Tron bike, and they are actually a little bit faster than the rest of the bikes out there. Still 8 seconds to Adam Webb though. Solid effort here coming from Adam here. 3.8 watts per kilogram is always putting out, so he's actually, I think, waiting up at this point. 38 seconds. I think it was maybe not timed completely correctly with the climb coming up here very quickly. I think it would be very difficult actually to get back on terms with those front runners and then rest up long enough to be able to stay on with Fox Hill. I think it would have been very dangerous actually to try and hang on to that pace all the way to the front actually. So we've got some interesting shots here coming through. We might have to keep them off the screen here as a few of the shots coming through. Some of the riders trying to stay as cool as they possibly can amongst the onboarders. So we'll have to let them know what the protocols are for live streaming out on some of these platforms here. But Mark McIntosh here from Team Experimental right along with Diner now up at the front. Does look like Adam Webb was caught. Fobs now 3.5 watts per kilogram, 180 beats per minute. We've got the workhorses out here today for Team Experimental and Team Vision Cycling up in that 180s or so, keeping things under wraps. We're going to go ahead and give Fobs a ride on, but it is coming into the section, of course, where they will be heading uphill, and that's where things are going to absolutely go bonkers. That's where they're going to break apart. If you're just tuning in for the first time, and I think we do have a few over at the, maybe over at the Mixer channel as well as the Twitch channel who are unfamiliar with what Zwift racing is. We're going to show you guys real quick what's happening out on course here today, and then we'll get right back with you as this is a little bit calmer section, and we'll be heading into Fox Hill in just a second here. But if you're unfamiliar with Zwift, here's an idea of what is happening. And we're back for our Vision Cycling versus Team Experimental out on the XRS DeCat race out there today. That was a little idea of what is happening out here in front of you in the world of Zwift. Real bikes, real riders hammering away. Scotty Weiss here up at the front of this race, currently with 174 beats per minute, 385 watts or so. Creel is right on his wheel now. And this is the point with that Everesting world record setter, Scotty Weiss himself out of the USA, hammering away right now, 7.4 watts per kilogram. This is going to be the moment where he can really shine, I believe, out on the course. But we do have a chase group now starting to get itself organized now at the bottom of Fox Hill as they start heading uphill into this 6% gradient. We do see Philip Diner knowing that this is going to be one of the moments of truth here, setting it up to about 7.6 watts per kilogram now. Scotty there, only 13 seconds on the front now. Creel is going to really be put into a spot of bother now. We are starting to see the suffering here from Vision Cycling now. Creel right along with Sebastian Kuhn and Tim Fulford now absolutely demolishing themselves in order to try and climb at this incessant pace that is being set at the front of the race now. Let's go ahead and see what the rest of our real life look like here. We got Kim Little up and out of the saddle, Tim Fulford, Jeffrey Creel, Sebastian Kuhn, and it looks like Scotty though, a little bit of a gap as we can see here. Creel now I think has suffered. We got the shot there right below of Mr. Scotty Weiss. Then we are seeing we actually double shots there, but now we do have, it looks like Creel's shot there, 4.3 watts per kilogram, has to back off a little bit. We'll give him a ride on, but I have a feeling that perhaps it was just a little too much trying to hang on with the world champion. It doesn't look like Creel's been caught now, and now it's going to be the rest of the team that's going to have to pull things back together. Creel now trying to get back on terms, though. We can see he's up and out of the saddle there. We did see him just a moment ago up and out of the saddle in real life now. 5.4 watts per kilogram coming from him, trying to hang on to Diner and Kim Little's wheel. We are seeing here Kim Little now absolutely demolishing it looks like at about 5.6 watts per kilogram or so. Creel now trying to stay on terms, but here is Scotty Weiss, 7.7 watts per kilogram at the front, 180 beats per minute right now. Absolutely doing a great job to try and hold on to this lead. It's going to be up to Diner to close this down, but we are seeing, it looks like Diner and then Kim Little, though, right on his wheel. 4.8 watts per kilogram coming from Kim Little. Very, very, very attentive right now. You can see Team Experimental knowing exactly what rider to hold on to. So we've got right below Kim Little there. That is actually Scotty Weiss there and his avatar. But you can see Kim over on the right-hand side of the screen, lower right-hand side of the screen, following Diner, actually staying right on Philip's wheel, knowing that Diner is one of the strongest riders out on Zwift, making sure that he just sticks to that wheel, because if Diner does close it down to Scotty, they at least have two Team Experimental riders in that front group able to battle it out with Philip. So Kim Little up and out of the saddle here. Look at the intentness now on his face there. Absolutely just focus, laser focus on holding on to the wheel of Diner as Scotty continues to go 8 watts per kilogram at the front end of this race. Almost over the top of Fox Hill. He's about to climb up over the top of this climb on that Tron bike. We've got that side view there in that Team Experimental kit there. Well, in the World Championship kit, but on the green Tron bike. As we look over his shoulder here, we do see they're completely out of sight. Let's go ahead and get the top view here from the helicopter. Nobody anywhere near him. It is 34 seconds back now at this point between Diner and Little and Creel. Plusber's there trying to close things down, as you can see, but I'm not sure they're going to see him again. These boys going off the front right now are letting themselves be known as the juggernauts of Zwift, the absolutely kings of the mountains out here today. I wonder what kind of time Weiss is going to set. He's been putting out 6.0 plus all the way up and over the top of this climb, absolutely demolishing the climb. Scotty here now, 422 watts still coming from this rider's legs. It's gone out to 57 seconds. He almost got a full-on minute. Scotty Weiss, man, I'm not sure he's going to be seen again. Now looking here for Diner, though, and the others, it's going to be Kim Little sticking to that wheel still, 7.8 watts per kilogram coming from the German rider here. Creel just trying to hang on, going backwards now. He's gone full-on blow-up. Oh, no! No! Zwift! No! Oh no, did you guys see that? He got a tag from the game. And we're going to have to wait and see if he's allowed. Oh, no. Did you guys see what happened there? Oh, no, Zwift. Scotty Weiss is too fast. He's too fast, boys and girls. What are we going to do? Maybe have somebody's got to flag Zwift. Somebody's got to flag Zwift because he has been removed from the game. I'm not sure what we're going to do at this point because Scotty's going to have to just keep on pedaling. Just keep on pedaling, Scotty. That's my suggestion. Keep on pedaling. Perhaps Zwift will get a quick contact and get put him right back in the game. I have a feeling they have the ability to remove the tag from him. And now it's a battle for Kim Little and Diner, though, at the front of the race. He came up and over the top of the climb and immediately got tagged out there. 6:12. I have a feeling that that was somewhere around almost a minute, maybe not a minute, I think 30 seconds to 45 seconds faster out on course there today, but tagged by Zwift. And we'll have to wait and see if he is reinstated to the race, though. We'll have to see. Adrian Timmons saying, I'll be back. Zwift racing soon. Been busy climbing real mountains. Good to see you. Good to hear that. And so, man, never seen that happen before during a race, actually. That is such a crazy effort from the world champion that it's going to be interesting. Maybe they have to give like actual, because here's what happens when you put out like top professional world top level or even beyond that numbers. Zwift goes, whoa, what just happened? What did you just do? That seems a little bit out of control. And then it actually gives you a thing. I think you missed your pro career, and it tags you with a little flag next to your name there. And as you guys saw there was an exclamation point next to his name there for just a second, and now has been removed from the game. I've had that come into mine as well in the past, and we'll have to see if he can be brought back into the game, though. But off the front now, it is going to be Kim Little and Diner battling out for the first place. I think Zwift Power may still bring him in. We'll have to see if it does, but I'm not sure if it's going to do so. We'll see if Zwift Power is still going to register Mr. Scotty Weiss in the race. 5.9 watts per kilogram for the duration so far. 29.5 kilometers in 38.4. It's going to be another 12 miles to go. They're going to do the, I believe they're going to head on over toward the Box Hill here in just a moment. A little bit more Grupo Compacto riding probably on the flatter sections of the course. We're going to see Kopix now right along with Becker, Webb, Gray, Plusmers. This is a huge chase group actually here. Fulford off the back by 31 seconds. We've got 1, 2, 3 riders from Vision Cycling's, 4 coming in from Team Experimental now with Francis Kopis, Joachim Plusmers, H.G. Becker, as well as S. Gray there as well. Sean Gray hammering away. So Becker here, definitely be watching out for him. Kim Little in the front, definitely the two strongmen now in the race. Scotty Weiss is somewhere out on course out there. We'll see if he is going to be seen again or if he is just absolutely gone at this point. Looks like we've lost Creel in the feed now, and it's going to be Fulford and Kuhn here that we do see in the Vision Cycling team car here hammering away. So I have a feeling that Creel may have lost his connection there for just a moment. Did his job, though, amongst the racers. I believe it's almost... I believe 2:30 a.m. actually for Mr. Jeffrey Creel. So maybe pulling the plug there as he's gone off the back of the race from the front. Did his work at the front of the race and now is going to be probably getting some food and taking a little bit of a nap before he starts work in the morning. So Diner here now at the front, as you can see here, 4.1 watts per kilogram. Kim Little now hanging out with them. Webb now trying to close that down, and it's still going to be a battle here between these guys at the front now, Diner and Little. to hold off Webb, as Webb's throwing down 5.2 watts per kilogram. Pluzmer's now just hanging on the wheel. Kopix is trying to go along with him. Gray is there as well. Locks and Dwayne Ground. Becker, 115 beats per minute. Watch out for this one, as Becker is going to be absolutely demolishing. We are seeing the riders starting to take on some fuel there. Fulford there throwing down maybe an SIS gel or something. We also see, it looks like Sebastian here grabbing some fuel as well. You still have Kim Little here hammering away at the front with Diner, as you can see, up and out of the saddle here to hold on to that wheel as they make their way into the climbing section out on course here. Kim Little up and out of the saddle there, up and over the top of the underground climb there. Out of the underground, they're going to be heading on over toward the bridge here in just a second. Right hand turn onto the bridge. Now we're seeing all of the wattages, though, from the riders behind up into that 7, 8, 9, 10 watts even per kilogram as they chase down the front runners. It's only 9 seconds now between them and the group of Kim Little and the rest now. So still battling it out on course here. And we've lost a few riders in our riders on board, but we still got Sebastian Kuhn, Kim Little, and Tim Fulford still coming through solid here on the day now. So at the front of the race here, 7 seconds is all they got. I think it's all going to come back together. It looks like they've given up the ghost and no longer going to be trying to hold off the other riders. I think they're going to give Scotty the go ahead, and I think Scotty, now being an invisible ghost rider out on course, is just going to take the W, as they're not going to see him again. If he's able to hold 5+ watts per kilogram for the duration of the race, they will definitely not be seeing him again. I do not have my chat servers over at Mixer, just so you guys know. I will try and bring them in as soon as possible, but for some reason I have gotten disconnected from the chat servers. We'll see if we're able to reconnect to them and bring your guys' chat right back in to the race today. I'd love to hear your questions and comments on what is going on with that little bit of a DQ, actually, it looks like, for the poor Scotty Weiss there. A case of for a pro racer, everything goes category, then Steve Booth there. So I don't know. That's a very good question there, Steve Booth, because we have seen some questions raised on even pro racer setups. I race professional, and I have been on a smart trainer that I knew was overestimating my power for sure during a race, and even said it afterwards the race, like, hey, that was crazy numbers that were being thrown down, a little bit high, maybe in the 10% range. It's set all of my best power numbers I've ever seen, and so I started racing just on my strain gauge, just to make sure that things were as real as possible. Or if I knew that it was the KISS 100 and the robots were showing up, I would just make sure to use that smart trainer. No, but so it was definitely that is a good question there, Steve Booth, even it doesn't really matter what the pro contract is, what the level of racing that you've raced at. It is a very good point to make there, that regardless of that, your setup might have issues even if you are a pro contracted rider. Now, that's not to say that Scotty can't throw down the numbers that we were seeing. I don't think that it's outside of his ability to put down a solid 5.7 to 6.0 watts per kilogram for 35 minutes or so. I know that he has a functional threshold power in the high fives, very high fives, maybe even pushing into sixes. So definitely able to throw down those kinds of powers in real life. So definitely should not have had a flag with his 20-minute being at 5.9 or so. I think he can definitely do something along those lines. So now we do see Grand here right along with down at the front as well here, 3.9 watts per kilogram. It's all Grupo Compacto here. They have a solid gap over Tim Fulford and the rest here, so definitely not going to be seeing those boys again. Let's go ahead and make sure we keep eyes, though, on that race at the back here, with Fulford in no man's land here, trying to hold off the riders now, grabbing a little bit of fuel. Now he's going to get into TT mode now. It's going to be up to Fulford maybe to hold off the group there of Neil Law and McIntosh. Sebastian Kuhn still hammering away there as well, out of Germany, a little ways back from Tim Fulford, but Tim now in focused mode now, as we do see 3.8, 3.6 watts per kilogram. Got the work done for the team. everybody, a lot of riders at least in the front end of the group now. So at least in the lead group. And so he's gotten the work done that need to get done for the team. And they have, it looks like 3 versus 4 now for the W. And it's going to be a battle up and over the top of Box Hill. But amongst these riders, Becker and Diner now, the new favorites, I think, out on course, definitely to be dealt with. If you would like to bring your comments in, just so you know, I am unable to connect to the servers right now over at Mixer, or maybe I can bring in the Twitch. If we can, I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, of course, as always, go ahead and tweet at us at ZCommunityLive, at ZCommunityLive. I will bring in your social media integration right on in if you do have any comments on what is happening over at the race today. I do see we do have quite a few actually tuning in over at the Twitch channel. Good to see all you guys over there. About 19 viewers over there. So good to see that the Twitch channel is getting a little bit of attention today. Becker now right along with Grand Plusmers and Diner still at the front, all Grupo Compacto. Nothing much going on at the front end of this race right now. So let's go ahead and tune in maybe with, it looks like Kim Little. Let's get some of our rider on board. You can see definitely calmed down here. Wiping a little bit of the sweat off, taking it easy here for just a moment. As you can see, it's resting up. Grupo Compacto time for Mr. Kim Little, as the pace has definitely slowed all the way down to 2.6 watts per kilogram or so. You saw the big old fan next to him there for a moment as things calm down at the front of the race. Maybe not very happy with all of the work that has gone down at the front of the race, though. Maybe a little frustration amongst Team Experimental, as they did have their strongest racer here just with an auto DQ there for a second there. So it's going to be difficult, maybe a difficult day for Team Experimental to swallow that pill, but they might just have to put up with the reality of that coming through right now, as there's not much to do about it. But if ZwiftPower.com does register Scotty as he does come through the start-finish area for the finish, they may still have him in the results. I'm going to have to double-check and see the last time he was checked through and whether or not he was. It looks like we broke Mixer, Jonathan Noblin is saying. All right, gotcha. So it looks like Mixer got broken. Interesting. So looking through the live results, I am still seeing, it looks like Scotty at the front of the live results, but I'm not sure if it's updated. The last time it was updated was the Prudential Arch at the entry location was the last time we did see an update at 9:59 negative. So no updates over there as well right now. So we'll have to wait and see if anything more does come through. So just kind of saying, part of the reason I don't want to race in Zwift is all the DQ threats, honestly. Not that I would ever be DQ'd, but the threat is stressful. You'll be fine, Juscana. Don't worry about it. You can look at my Strava. I'm as bad as I say I am, Sismansky is saying. Look at my any week, just not when I was using Kicker Power Source. And Juscana saying, I hear I'm going to have to race with new ZA, though. Heck yeah, of course you got to. Let's go. I'm not sure what's going on with Mixer. I'll have to double check and see what is happening over there. Perhaps we have overloaded the Mixer channel. I'm going to double check it here real quick, see if it's going through over at our splitter. But I have a feeling that maybe there's an issue over at Mixer. I can double check the servers and see if there is anything happening in the panic area over there. I have a feeling that perhaps we will get updates as to exactly what is happening. And we are aware of issues with chat and are working on fixing it. So there's definitely I think there is something going on. Yep, so Sort saying Mixer's crashed. SW saying, I'm not meant to race on Zwift, it seems. SW has stopped. Got it, SW. Understood. Sorry to hear that. Roger says, when I grow up, I want to be so strong that Zwift thinks I am a bot. And I guess it is a little bit of a congratulations for being so incredibly strong that they just took you out of the race. Sorry to hear that, and it's too bad that it happened, but definitely almost a compliment being so strong that they think that you are a robot. Sorry to hear that, SW, but good to see that you are still hanging out in the broadcast with us today and cheering on the rest of Team Experimental here, as they are still going to have to battle it out against Adam Webb and Philip Diner, as well as Dwayne Gran, and it looks like Locks is now on terms as well amongst this group. So 1, 2, riders from Vision Cycling. I've seen at least 5 from Experiment. Now at the front, we are seeing Dwayne Ground. Now it looks like here at the front of the Vision attacks now. 8.3 watts per kilogram coming from him, actually attacking pretty hard here. Kim Little getting up and out of the saddle now. We are seeing at 8.5 watts per kilogram. Got a solid 7-second gap, actually. Maybe caught the boys off guards for a second as they're about to take this right-hand turn into Box Hill. And I have a feeling this may be a tactic now in order to loosen up the legs of Team Experimental before they actually hit the climb. That is actually a really smart move, actually, in order to try and soften up the legs of some of the super strong riders here coming from Team Experimental, because they're going to be ones that definitely be some difficult ones to deal with here out on course with the likes of Becker as well as Little in and amongst the group right now. We are getting a little bit of a lag coming through for some reason every time that we head on over to one of our feeds. I'm going to see if we can get a better feed coming through here and stop getting that lag. I do see the lag coming through, guys. I'm sorry about the render time issues that we are having. We are totally fine on my CPU, so I'm not exactly sure what is happening or why, but we'll see if we can get that fixed up for you guys and gals and not have any issues any longer. Well, our GPU actually is sitting at about 83%, so maybe that's why. So we'll maybe have to cool it down just a little bit. I think we have quite a few videos coming through. I'm going to go ahead and close all of our videos coming through here. Just make sure that we're not putting any extra stress on the video card right now. It looks like it went ahead and brought it way down as soon as I closed out the feeds coming through from Twitch and Mixer. So a little bit of a learning lesson as we're bringing in some new callers today. Definitely a new feature that we're experimenting with. Now we are seeing, it looks like Kim Little here closing things down here to the front end of the race. Dwayne Gran going off the front 14 seconds, actually. Has a solid gap, and maybe a rider that they weren't super concerned about, but maybe a little concerned now coming into the legs at this point as he's holding a solid 4.6 watts per kilogram, 12 seconds off the front. So now they're going to go ahead and throw down a huge attack in order to try and bring him back into the fold. Webb follows up very closely now, and this is going to be the moments of truth, I think, out on course with Dwayne now, 5.2 at the front there. Webb now with, it looks like, able to stick in with Kim's attack now. Moving back now, we do see it is going to be Plusmer's now kicking into some orange numbers, trying to hang on to the pace. All back together, 5 riders from Team Experimental, and it looks like we've got 2 from Vision Cycling in and amongst this group right now with Dwayne off the front. So it's going to be 5v3 out on course today, and definitely going to have their work cut out for them, Locks and Webb. We've got Dwayne right back into the mix now, not going anywhere just yet. Diner is in there as well, excuse me. So it's going to be 4v5 actually with Dwayne off the front. Diner, of course, why would I forget about him? One of the strongest riders out on Zwift, and it's going to be probably, my prediction is going to be Diner v. Becker out on course. Diner v. Becker out on course today. So looking through here, Copics now 6.0 watts per kilogram. Now Kim attacking up into the 7.1, 470 watts now. Dwayne getting caught now. Diner now kicking as soon as they hit the bottom of the climb up into 8 watts per kilogram. 178 beats per minute though. I'm not sure he's got a whole lot more heart rate to work with now. 7.7, 7.6 now. 7.3 here coming from Kim Little, trying to hang on to that wheel. Gray going right along with him. Copics is there as well. Plusmer's. Webb now following very closely. Not the strongest climber out on course, so we're going to have to watch out for the absolute implosion of Webb now, trying to kick it back onto the wheel now. We are seeing Becker here, 6.3 watts per kilogram, just getting warmed up maybe. 153 beats per minute though. Definitely a low max heart rate for Becker. Not sure we're going to see him hanging on today as we look forward here. Let's go and get the first person point of view. Will he be able to grab onto the wheels here? Locks now off the back, 11 meters. It's going to be a battle all the way to the top. Now they've dropped off 2 Vision Cycling riders already, but still with Diner, the one who's attacking at the front, as you can see, 7.1 watts per kilogram. Kim Little grabs right onto the wheel. Plusmer now 3 seconds back, so the 2 strongmen going off the front now. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like for Kim Little, trying to hang on to that wheel. It is going to be, it looks like we've got Jay Ferris as well in our feed here. It looks like off the back here. Kuhn there as well, now hanging in amongst some of the other riders. Let's see if we can get in and amongst the front here. Garcia now making his way into Box Hill. Neil Law as well as Webb here falling off pace from the front of that race. There's Kim Little though. On the right there, you see in the lower right hand side of the corner there, there's his avatar trying to hang on to the wheel there of Diner. Then we do see, it looks like right below me is going to be Webb there, just barely able to hang on to the pace with Ploesmers and Gray right now. Then we do have, it looks like H.G. Becker up at the front here trying to close things down, but not doing so. Actually, it looks like this is going to be Diner right along with Little, still off the front. So here's the front. At the bottom of the screen, it's actually Becker. Kim Little's on the far right there hanging on to the wheel of, it looks like, Mr. Philip Diner for the Vision Cycling team. Now halfway up Box Hill to the finish line. They're going to have about 5 miles to go. 5 miles to go to the line. Diner with one more attack, it looks like here, about halfway up, 7 watts per kilogram, 187 beats per minute. Kim Little still trying to hang on to that wheel here. We are seeing from Kim now 6.0 watts per kilogram. Staying steady though and able to hang on to the monstrous effort there from Mr. Diner now. We are seeing 5.6 watts per kilogram. Able to hold on to the wheel. It is an advantage out on course though to hang on to that wheel. We do see the effort there from him right now. Definitely steady there from him. Look at the concentration on the face, the breathing definitely controlled as much as possible, up and out of the saddle, holding onto the wheel, not fading too much, but keeping him within grasp right now. It's going to be a crazy time up on the top of Box Hill. They did somewhere around a 6:12 or so over Fox Hill. Now we do see a little, did he actually do a power up there? I didn't see a power up coming from him, but did a little bit maybe of a screen change there for a second, as we did see him actually going for maybe a spacebar. I thought maybe, but there are no power-ups allowed in the DeCat actually, so I don't think that that was a power-up. Still, Vision versus Team Experimental at the front of this race right now. Diner now 5.3 watts per kilogram, 183 beats per minute. Ploesmer's now kicking up into those orange numbers, but not getting away at this point. They were able to drop off Webb though, who has faded at this point off the back here. So Webb and Locks, it looks like, no longer in and amongst the front. It's all on Diner at this point, boys and girls. They've got this train of Team Experimental now on that absolutely on the rivet right now, trying to chase down Diner, as you can see here. So we saw Diner attacking there and up and out of the saddle there, trying to get rid of Kim Little, up in that 7.8 watts per kilogram or so. Little, they're trying to close it down. Not sure he's going to be able to do so. This is for the W out there today. Then we do see as well Gray and the others of Team Experimental here trying to chase it down to bring him back in. But here's the avatar of Kim Little right below me, right above him, right below Kim Little. There's his avatar trying to close it down, but Diner now going away by 4 seconds, as you can see on the other feed right next to him. There it is, Experimental versus Vision. Now Kim Little's gonna have to kick one more time to get right back on terms, but it is out to 5 seconds. Not sure he's gonna see them again, but if we get back with the avatar here of Little now, he's got Kopix here trying to chase him down right along with Becker. If they can get back with him, maybe work together on the downhill, but it's going to have to be an all-out TTT to the finish line to bring this back in. It's going to be a difficult day to make that happen. I think Diner just proving himself to be too strong out there today, and it's too bad we don't have Scotty any longer in the feed, because maybe Diner was going to be able to close it down to Scotty, or at least battle against Scotty out there today, as Scotty was pulled from the race because he put out too many watts per kilogram, and Zwift pulled him. We'll have to give a little feedback there to Zwift about, hey, Scotty got pulled from the race. Is there a way to make it so that riders don't get pulled from the race, even though they put out big power numbers that are in the pro Peloton type numbers, world champion type numbers out on course? So now Diner here right along with Kim Little, about to come across the, but it looks like Diner with 18 seconds going to pull this off. But second place looks to be all but wrapped up, all the way down to 6th, I believe, for Team Experimental. Locks here getting the better of Webb. That is heard of, actually. Webb taking third place, perhaps third, fourth, and fifth amongst the Vision Cycling boys, but not third, fourth, and fifth on the days. It's going to be Little, Gray, Kopix, Becker, Plusmers, all in that, looks like second through third, fourth, fifth, and sixth place. But Diner here going off the front at 5.3 watts per kilogram. Not sure he's going to be seen again, but Kim absolutely suffering. Look at this effort here coming from Kim Little right now as he is making his way to the line. Just about to kick it into that climb. He's going through that KOM banner here. And now we do see Diner with one more attack, 185 beats per minute, 500 watts or so. Now Kim Little up and out of the saddle here, about to hit his final little kick up and over the top of Box Hill right now, holding off his teammates about 27 seconds back as they make their way into the final 3 miles out on course today. Solid effort all around from all of the riders. Going to go ahead and check out what's happening with the social media integration here. Jeffrey Creel's letting us know that he had an internet dropout. We were wondering what happened there. We did lose you there for a second. Sorry to hear that, Jeffrey Creel, but good to see you still in the broadcast here. And we are seeing Adrian Timmis calling out Kim for the win, but not going to get the correct prediction out there today. I need to do some proper training to compete with these boys. Same here, Adrian. I'm going to jump on the bike right after this, actually, and get some proper training in. Got a little bit of motivation after watching these boys out here. Hakon, good to see Hakon out at the broadcast over on the Facebook. Says, I love Box Hill. Attack, attack. Out on the broadcast. Good to see you here and your comments over at the face of the book here. So now back with the racing, though. We've got Kim Little now. Here is his avatar, 28 seconds back from the front end of this race. Diner is gone now at this point, so he's not going to be seen again. It looks like Philip Diner able to hold off Kim Little. Kim Little going to battle it out all the way to line for that second place out there today. But then it's going to be a battle between the rest of Team Experimental here, and I wonder if there's going to be any love lost between these boys, or if they're just going to go for it and battle it out between each other. Of course they are for that third place out there today. Becker, Plusmers, Gray, and Kopix are going to be the ones for Team Experimental trying to pull in for third place out there today. Still a battle for them. It looks like Gray here with a little bit of a kick into 8.0 watts per kilogram or so. They still have 2 miles to the finish line or so. They're starting to bring Kim in a little bit. Actually, no, Kim's out to 42nd. They're not going to see him again. Becker now resting up, as you can see. Gray as well into that Sagan tuck. Locks and Webb off the back now. Webb, one last little kick. It looks like 3:15 back from the front end of the race. Webb, definitely a rider who does better on the crit-like courses, the flatter courses. As soon as they get into these super climbs, has a tough day. So Diner now from Vision Cycling out of Germany with the double KOMs, as you can see, 1 minute up from this group. And it looks like it's going to be Vision for the win in the Vision versus Team Experimental today, only I think because Scotty Weiss was pulled from the race. We'll have to maybe give a win-win, maybe a win-win between both of the teams out today. Actually, how about this? Let's just have a rematch next week. How about that? Now, I can't say that that's for sure, but how about a rematch, boys and girls? And this time we'll make sure Scotty stays in the race. Gray now with a little bit of a fade, actually, down to 0 watts per kilogram for just a second there. Not sure what happened, but I think he lost the wheel and is not going to see them again, as he lost 2 seconds to a super strong group. Trying to get a little bit of a Sagan tuck one more time and didn't work out for him. Now, only 16 seconds between Diner and Little now. That's not a whole lot of time, actually. Maybe a little bit of a threat still, but now Diner kicking into 10 watts per kilogram. He's got to still hold him off. Still up in that 180 beats per minute. Still definitely a battle all the way to the line. Jerome, good to see you hanging out over at the broadcast over at Facebook. Nathan for the win. Good to have you there. It's not me for the win today. It's Diner for the win today. But I'm glad to be here and talk about the win. That's for sure. I appreciate you hanging out here. I'm on course all alone at 50.6 kilometers. Oh my goodness, Jeffrey. Keep on going, man. Hammer it out. You might still register, actually, with the game and with the finish line. Everybody's just got to battle it now to the line, knowing that you're out there, actually. You might actually be able to bring in a few spots. Now we are seeing Becker, it looks like, and the rest of Team Experimental actually starting to battle it out for the last couple of spots. Diner off the front still, but now we do see it looks like Gray here just able to get back on terms with the back end of this Team Experimental train now. We are seeing Kim Little 20 seconds up from them. Becker now, it looks like, with Kopix on his wheel and Plusmers, and then S. Gray. It looks like Kim Little, 167 beats per minute. Diner now just about to come across the line, though, for the win. It's going to be a battle still, though, between the rest of Team Experimental for that third place spot. Kim Little's going to be able to hold it off, it looks like, for second place out there today. As you can see here, here's the shot there of Kim as he keeps it into a steady effort, 167 beats per minute, up and out of the saddle, giving us a little bit of show. Diner kicking it one more time to the line there. Kim Little getting a couple of ride-ons before he finishes it up there, getting some encouragement out there on course now. So getting back into the front of the race, though, as he crosses the finish line, it is going to be Philip Diner for the W out there today. Nice job to Philip Diner for Vision Cycling in the Vision vs. Team Experimental race out there today. Adrian Tim is saying, great racing course out there. Yeah, this definitely is a really good racing course for the climbers especially. But there's a lot of flatter sections and crit-like sections, a lot of tactical sections out there in order to really keep things interesting, as well as keep the teams honest with the climbing, though, out there. Diner just crossed the line. Solid effort for him as he comes across the line. Then we do have, it looks like, Kim Little about to cross the line as well. Solid effort for him for that second place. That's first and second place. Diner's avatar right next to Kim Little's avatar. Kim Little now just coming across the line for second place for Team Experimental out there today. Then we are going to have a little ways back. It is going to be Gray with an early attack, actually. How did he grab 7 seconds? That's what I want to know. Gray had, how did Gray grab 7 seconds from the rest of this group? I have no idea. But S. Gray here gets away from the rest of the boys. Becker looks to be taking the second place spot amongst the group, followed by Kopix and then Plusmers across the line. Solid effort there between all of the Team Experimental riders. Taking, it looks like, second through sixth actually out there today. Diner just a little too strong for them. Again, Scotty Weiss was off the front. Looked to have it won, but was pulled from the race, so no go for him. We still got a couple of Vision boys making their way to the line. I'm going to double check and see if Christian put his shirt back on. If Christian put his shirt back on, we'll bring him back into the race here. I'm just going to do a double check on Christian. If he is, we'll bring him back in. Make sure you guys, you got to have your shirt on, boys and girls, if you're going to be in the race. Looks like he pulled his call in, but make sure if you do Zwift on board, you do the on board, you gotta the rules are you gotta have your shirt on, boys and girls, for the on board out there today. We do still have a couple of our riders making their way to the finish line. Tim Fulford and Sebastian Kuhn still holding it down, I think within the top 20 or so out there today. And we are getting a little comments here coming in from David Lipscomb. And I love these comments actually from his coach. And David's letting us know, truth be told, I know what Scotty's numbers are, and they are legit. I know they are legit because I am his coach, and I know, yeah, I'm with you there, David. I've seen his numbers as well in real life. I've seen his numbers hanging out with him, talking with him about his training, and we've chatted about what his FTP is together. I've looked at his Strava. I'm with you there, David, and I don't think anyone out there, David, right now, just so you guys know, I don't think anyone out there is not questioning that. I don't think the numbers are being questioned out there. At the same time, though, I don't think any of the pros should get a free card, though, on having to be checked on a strain gauge power meter at a certain point. Maybe we need a pro category as we get more and more pros jumping in. And if you put over 6 watts per kilogram, you got to send in some strain gauge power meter sources, because then you're starting to get froomy. Then you're starting to get like, hey, Lance, what's going on here? Are you winning the Tour de France? And that's fine. I mean, some of these riders are going to be able to do that. 6.0 is not unheard of amongst the pro peloton for 20 minutes, of course. Zwift on board, shirt required, Jens says. Yep, shirt required, just so you guys know. Make sure you got the shirt. We've got Kim cooling down here. Hey, guys, Thank you so much to our Zwift on boarders. We'll call it Zwift on board or our onboard riders. Tim, we appreciate you very much. Sebastian, great job hammering away still out there today, as well as Christian. And we also had Neil Law made the attempt to get in there, as well as Jeffrey Creel. Thanks so much to all the boys out there for letting us get them involved in the broadcast. In the future, let's get some mics going, and we'll make sure to get some pre-race and post-race interviews for the broadcast. Kim, can you hear me, Kim? If you can hear me, do you have a mic attached right now? Do you have a mic attached right now? I'd love to bring you in if you can. If you don't, no big deal. It's directly through the call. It's directly through the call. It is not through the Discord or anything like that. It'd be directly through the call, just so you know, if you wanted to jump in. He's probably chatting away though somewhere, it looks like, with some peoples about stuff. So he's frustrated, it looks like. Great show, Steve Booth is saying. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Steve. And we really appreciate all you guys tuning in. It was a lot of fun. Too bad about the dropout, but maybe we'll have a rematch next week. Bring the Team Experimental Envision Cycling, or maybe if we can get a couple other teams involved and get a few more on boarders, we can have as much as 8 on board with us. So definitely can bring quite a few in. Something is going on in my house, boys and girls. I think I gotta go, but something is definitely going on in the Guerra household. I think the boys are having quite a blast right now, maybe in the background. So let's go over the race results real quickly, as we have a little bit of a Guerra party in the background. Looks like the race results are not updating, actually, which is interesting to see. So we did have Diner, though, for sure, with the W, followed up by Kim Little, and then I believe it was Sean Gray across the line in 3rd place. So that would be it for the riders out there today amongst them. It looks like Sebastian Kuhn's still out there hammering away, has a little while to go yet to the line. We'll give one more shout out to all of our Zwift on boarders as they're cooling down. Thanks a lot, you guys, for tuning in with us and bringing your real life efforts into the race. All right, so for the rest of the week, we've got a lot going on. We've got Jesper and West tomorrow morning for the East and the West Ecrit down in Australia. We've got the Zwift Racer Focus with Ian Anderson, and then we've also have the usual ZTR XRS race Tuesday race as well. So we'll make sure to be bringing all that to you tomorrow on Tuesday. All right, I gotta go do some data, and it sounds like, so we'll see you guys tomorrow for all the racing out on Zwift.